Recently in my live chats, I have had a ton of definitely not paid actors ask me about armor changes coming in the Edge of Fate, specifically when it comes to stats, and specifically when it comes to how old armor stats will convert to new armor stats, and what old armor stat setups we want going into the Edge of Fate. And I'm going to give you a little secret tip on one of the combos that you're going to be able to get now, but not in the Edge of Fate. So if we look at our current old stats at the current moment, we have mobility, we have resil, we have recov, we have discipline, we have intellect, and we have strength. Moving into the Edge of Fate, the conversions for discipline, intellect, and strength are rather intuitive. They're basically just getting a name change to grenade, super, and melee, as you might imagine. The changes for the top three stats, though, are not quite as intuitive. Mobility is actually turning into the weapons stat, where the more of this stat you have, the more damage you deal to majors and minors. And if you get over 100 into the 200 threshold, you actually deal bonus damage to bosses. Recov, our final stat, is going to transition into the class stat. So how quickly you get your class ability back, and then anything over 100 to the 200 range, it's going to give you an overshield on class ability cast. One of the really interesting stat pairings here that you're going to want to invest into getting armor of before we walk into the Edge of Fate is pieces of armor that have heavy distributions of mobility and intellect, especially for endgame content like raids and day one contest mode raiding. And the reason for this is because if you have a high weapon stat up to 200, then you're going to deal bonus boss damage. And if you have a high super stat up to 200, you're going to deal up to 45% bonus super damage. So things like Thunder Crash with Curse of the Falling Star, Celestial Nighthawk, Golden Gun are going to hit like an absolute truck. And the thing is, in the Edge of Fate, with the new armor gear archetype systems, allowing us to have access to certain specific stat spikes, there is no armor archetype in the Edge of Fate that allows you to get high spikes in both mobility and intellect, aka both weapons and super. So you want to get some high mobility, high intellect armor right now, so that when we go into the Edge of Fate, you have high weapon and super armor already sitting there waiting for you. Assuming you've done approximately the first 3 steps of the Episode Echoes questline, and you'll be able to talk to Failsafe and spend Echo engrams specifically to focus armor. Now, if you spend it directly on these 4 pieces of armor here, it will drop with high stat spikes. Don't do this engram right here because the stats will be low, but you can specifically target these 4 pieces. And what's more, to target specifically those mobility and intellect spikes, you can come down here to your Ghost Shell and specifically select something like mobility armor or intellect armor. That way, when you have these high spikes of mobility intellect armor, they will convert into the high spike weapon and super armor, and you'll be good to go with high stat distributions and favorable stats for day 1 raids in the Edge of Fate.